Maybe you're wondering which high school football games to go to. We've got your answers. Stephen Orr with the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show. Stephen, good morning. How are you?
Great, Chad. How are you today?
Doing well. So what do we know this week that we did not know last week?
Well, we know that District 4 of 5A is not playing out like Stephen thought it would, but it's still a really good race. I tell you what, Lubbock Coronado really showed something against Monterey in that win last week, 49-14 there. And really, they've got a game this week against San Angelo Lakeview that if they aren't looking ahead to Lubbock Cooper the following week, if they can stay in the game, I think they pick up another win tonight and move to 3-0 in district. They are playing Lubbock Cooper tonight. They need to look at Lubbock Cooper. Read the lines. No, but that's going to be a big game tonight. Cooper trying to rebound after a loss last week to Abilene Cooper in a close game, 26-13. They fell there. So if Coronado can win tonight against Lubbock Cooper, then that should set us up for a district championship game, last game of the season on the 3rd, where Abilene Cooper and Lubbock Coronado play, and I think that could be really exciting. Monterey has really struggled to put points on the board the last couple of weeks against tougher teams. Of course, they played Abilene Cooper and Lubbock Coronado, your two district leaders, but only 17 and 14 points respectively, and they're going to take on a San Angelo Lakeview team tonight that should offer them an opportunity to, if they play well and do the things they need to do, get back on the winning side of the bracket a little bit, but Monterey certainly, after starting off 5-0, now a two-game losing streak, they need a win tonight as they take on Lubbock Cooper next week. So that's kind of interesting to me. You get up into 6A. Friendship tonight takes on Odessa High School. Odessa yet to win a ball game this year, so but Friendship only has 2 games left. Their open date is on November 4th, so all they have left is Odessa at 0-7, and then Midland Lee comes in with a 3-5 record there. So, Friendship I still think is in that playoff picture, but they've got to win both of these ball games. They're on a 3-game losing streak. That's not something that Friendship is used to dealing with historically. So, they're in a little bit of uncharted water, but I think they have an opportunity to pick up that win tonight, and then they can finish strong next week, and they'll finish with a 3-3 district record.
What are some other games that is on the radar tonight?
Well, when we get down into 4A, a big game actually last night. Lubbock Estacada did themselves a solid by beating Pampa 42-34, and that's huge. I mean, that 4-team district, everybody's going, but you're playing for seeding. Pampa has had a good record. They were 5-4 in the year, but they've won some really quality ball games, and they put up a ton of points. And Estacada holds them to 34, which is right there around their season low. So Estacada has to be happy about that. Then you've got Levelland taking on Borger tonight. I'm pretty confident that Levelland will pick up their second district win in that ball game. And all these guys, they play this week, and then they play next week, and then all 4 teams in that district are open the last week of the season. So by next week, we should have a really good idea of how this thing finishes up for the year. So drop down into into 4A Division 2, District 1. That's where Brownfield is. You've got Brownfield, Dalhart, Bushland, and Denver City, along with Perryton. So geographically a huge district, only 5 teams, and I think you look at Brownfield here, injuries decimated, plus just a brutal non-district schedule. They got a win on September 30th against Kermit, then they lost to Denver City last week, 23-19, or the week before last. They were open last week, and now they're going to come out and play a 7-1 Perryton team, and Perryton's only loss came the first week of the year to 5A Dumas, in a 4-point ball game. So you got to think Brownfield has a real uphill struggle tonight as they take on the Perryton Rangers. Then they'll finish out next week with Dalhart and Bushland the following week. And when I looked at this team at the start of the year, just not where I saw them being at all. Mm-hmm. But like I said, injuries, a brutal schedule combined with injuries leaves us with a 1-6 Brownfield team. And you know that Coach Welps, that's not what he had on the agenda when he started. Denver City takes on Dalhart tonight. Dalhart yet to find the win column this year, and I doubt they will tonight, as Denver City should get another win there, and that will move them to 2-1 in district, taking on Bushland next week to wrap up their regular season. So Denver City sitting pretty at 2-1 there, and you've got to say right now, if I was just projecting this district, I think Brownfield, the winner of the Brownfield-Dalhart game will be for who stays home out of a 5-team district. Then we drop down into 3A, Division I, and I think you've got Amarillo River Road taking on Shallow Water. River Road, not a team that when we're talking about playoffs do we normally expect them. They pulled off what I thought was an upset last week against Muleshoe, 31-24. Shallow Water did find the win column for the first time last week with a win, and so I don't think Shallow Water is going to string two together. I think this is a game that falls to River Road if River Road shows up and plays like they can. So that's a big ball game. Then you've got Littlefield taking on Slayton. Littlefield's 2-0 in district. Slayton is 1-6 on the year, and Slayton is 0-2 in district. I think Littlefield gets a win and stays tied there for the top of that district. And if all of these go through, if Amarillo, River Road, and Littlefield can win tonight and next week, then that'll set up a district championship game there on November 4th when those two face off. So That could be a really good ball game as well. We drop down into Division II of 3A, and you've got the Idalou Wildcats at 2-0, and they're going to take on Lubbock Roosevelt. Roosevelt has, they show different things. They win-loss. They won last week over Stanton, and then now they're going to take on an Idalou team. And I've seen Lubbock Roosevelt play in person, and they can be big and they can be physical, or they can be really mistake-prone. So what team shows up? Of course, Idalou's just solid, and I kind of think Idalou will come out on top in that game, but they need to show up and play because on any given night, Roosevelt really can be a physical team that can make some things happen. When we drop down into District 2 of Division I 2A, Abernathy takes on Floydada tonight. That's a game where Abernathy has gotten better all year. Floydada has struggled. They've had some injury issues and just not been able to close out some games that they needed to. So I think Abernathy probably has the lean there. Hale Center takes on New Deal. New Deal they're undefeated on the year. They're 2-0 in district. They're lightning fast. Hale Center plays kind of the same style of ball as New Deal's. They're really fast as well. But where I think the difference in this game will be is New Deal on defense is able to stretch that field out there, fly to the football, and they make some solid hits. And it's drip, 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 and then big play. And I think that continues tonight, and I think New Deal will beat Hale Center. Then you've got Sundown taking on Olton, and Sundown coming off the close loss, or losing to Abernathy, not close really, but lost to Abernathy 41-26 last week. This is going to be an interesting game. Olton's played tough, but they've not been able to find the win column a whole lot. But I think Sundown probably has your edge there. So then we drop down into Division II, District 2, and you've got Lockney and Crosbyton and Rawls all playing. Crosbyton takes on Memphis, who is 6-1 on the year. Rawls takes on Clarendon, which is 7-0. Interesting note on Clarendon. Clarendon has already recorded 4 shutouts on the year. The most points they've allowed in any game is 19, and their total allow for the year is 32.
Huh. Wow.
And they're pretty stout on defense.
Yeah, I would think so.
So Rawls has their hands full tonight. They need to put points on the board and shut down a team that scored 120. No, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. 118 points in the last 2 games. So a big task for them. That Clarendon's top of that district. Memphis is tied at the top. Memphis takes on Crosbyton tonight. Crosbyton, a team that has had their good moments and their bad moments. They lost to Clarendon last week, 67-0, and that ended a 4-game winning streak after starting with 2 losses. So Clarendon comes right out of Crosbyton comes out of a really difficult game right into another one, and then they play Wellington next week. So over the next 2 games, we're going to know a lot about them. Then Lockney, looking for their first district win and trying to get the 3rd win of the year. They take on a Wellington team that blew out Rawls last week 56-0. So the South Plains teams taking on the teams from the Panhandle. It's going to be a tough week for the South Plains in this one.
Stephen, what are a couple of the games that people just have to get out and see this week?
Well, I think you want to go see you'd want to go see that Lubbock Coronado Lubbock Cooper game There's a lot on the line there, especially for the Pirates who lost that game last week. They want to stay towards the top half of that district, and they need that win there. And Lubbock Coronado is just playing lights out football. I think I would want to go see I think that Perryton Brownfield game is interesting. It depends on what Brownfield shows up with. I like Littlefield and Slayton just because the games I'm seeing now are the ones I want to see where one team is going to continue, or if they get lax. We have a lot of kind of lopsided games maybe from a paper standpoint, but that's why we play the games. One of the better ones, I think that Ilud Lubbock Roosevelt game could be really good as well. So anyway, that's kind of what we have on tap. Looks like we're going to have a great night for football. Might want to grab a blanket. The fall chill is in the air.
Yeah.
And really interesting, and I'm interested to see how things go. You know, I think the separation that we saw in District 4 or 5A is probably is the biggest thing that I saw coming out of this last week because I'm watching it so much. But Abilene Cooper's trying to spoil the Lubbock party, and so far they've been pretty successful at it.
Well, we'll see what happens this week and visit with you again next week and see where we stand with all, especially the Lubbock area schools, and see where everybody stands right now.
Great, Chad. Appreciate it, as always.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. Have a great one.
You bet.
That's Stephen Orr, West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show, which you can hear right here on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO, and throughout West Texas. You can also listen on your Radio Pop app as well.